Dama, we were monsters. I finally decided to walk out of the cabin, and at the time it was night. The stars were all over the sky. They shined on us. Most of the men were gone from the deck. They're sleeping below, the voice said. Dama was looking at me. I walked up to the rail and looked at the ocean. The stars were all over the sea. Boots were banging on the deck behind me. My body was ready to strike, but when the sound stopped, a hand touched mine and it felt familiar. Life at the sea is not easy, Dama said, and looked out of the water. Captains go mad and their crews know better than the leader. I said. I put my other hand on top of his. That's why we have to stay alert, the voice said. I looked around on deck. From the opposite side of the captain's cabin were two big men in what looked like a big cabin. The door opened. A man in a glittering dress walked up to us. He looked like a magical creature of some other world. Let me show you a trick, the man said and looked at Dama. We have no time for magic tricks, Dama said and pressed his hat down. Show me, I said and walked up to the curious man. Right or left? Love or riches? The man said. I guess I always dreamed of becoming rich, but I heard stories. Men would win big in the local card games. Next day, their body was found and the money was gone and the gambling continued. They had nothing to lose. The poor people. Other rich people just use money to make more money or gain power. And without power, they would live a short life. The powerful became rich. Some gambled their winnings hoping to get the next big score and they were again poor. Love moves people. Cooperation builds kingdoms. Love is the future of all life. Right, love? I said and pointed. The man in a dress threw a powder in my eyes. Dama shouted, but I screamed. I see something. Yes, girl, what do you see? Blood flowing down mountains, stones rolling, buildings falling, ships breaking, the omen of revolution. What more? The man said. A man in black robes, men in black clothes, a fleet. I said. This sort of magic was incredible. I didn't want the visions to stop. What more, girl? The man said and took my hand. That's enough. Dama shouted and gave me a hug. The hand disappeared. My visions were fruits rolling down towards me and Dama in a valley. I tried to climb up a mango tree and pull him up with me, but I couldn't carry him in my arm. He got swallowed by the fruits, made me tear up and cry. I'm here, Angel, Dama said. My vision was black for a few hours, but the man with the glittering dress had promised it would return. And when it did, Dama came into the captain's cabin where I laid. I don't like that man, Dama said and looked back at the broken door to the captain's cabin. I like him. He's a real magician. You should have seen my visions, I said and he smiled. Captain, he's pissing himself all over deck. A sailor shouted. Then clean it up, Dama shouted. Why keep him alive? A sailor shouted. To set an example, rapists become cripples, Dama shouted. The sailor that asked laughed, but Dama pricked him. And you're feeding him. The other sailors laughed. Beat the cripple feeder. Pity of Spooner. Pete pulled the cripple down from the roof and found a bowl of soup and a stiff piece of bread. Pete the rapist keeper. Pete shouted and laughed while opening the mouth of the cripple, crumbling the bread and pouring soup over the breadcrumbs. He moved the jaw of the cripple and poured some beer into the mouth. I like this job, Pete said and laughed. The other sailors didn't laugh anymore. They looked away from the bizarre feeding ritual. When the cripple had been fed, he was hoisted up in the air again. I looked around the ship. There were no cannons. I always heard stories of dangerous pirate fights, but I guess our best choice was to surrender against an armed ship. The man with the glittering dress was looking at me from behind the bars to his cabin. He opened the door and waved at me. I walked towards him but heard the voice. Be careful around that man. There's a reason he has guards and his own cabin. He can't be trusted. The voice said, come in, the man said and greeted my hand with a handshake. I'm Flutterdash, the man said. I looked at his gray eyes. They looked tired with many blood veins showing. I'm White Lotus, I said. He stepped back and led me into his cabin. There was a piece of wood leaning on a chest. The staff of ember breath, Flutterdash said, and pointed at the piece of wood. Your Captain Dama is no normal man, Flutterdash said and smiled at me. The door of a captain's cabin is usually reinforced with metal, but it broke easily to Dama's punch. Flutterdash said and snapped his fingers, and the two guards at the door closed the door to the cabin. There were two men sleeping inside the cabin by the walls. Flutterdash moved over to a desk. And there's this burn mark both on the stomach of the former captain, a burn mark on the cripple, and on the broken wood of the door. Flutterdash said, I heard the pages of a book turn. Flutterdash had his back to me. I walked over to the chest and opened it without making noise. There was a folded carpet in the chest and folded scrolls. There are no known records of such magic, Flutterdash said. The carpet moved slightly, and I moved my fingers from the chest, and it made a bang. The staff fell to the floor and rolled to the swing of the ship. The two men that were sleeping woke up and looked around. The floorboards creaked. I looked behind me and Flutterdash was there towering over me as I with my small height was a dwarf in comparison. I think you're not telling me everything, Flutterdash said. I felt afraid of the man and I heard the voice. Need help? The voice said. I was afraid of making another man a cripple. I hear a voice, I said, and looked up at the gray eyes. The books of Estia's capital library have mentions of telepathy. But maybe you're just hallucinating. Maybe the powder made you sick, Flutterdash said, and looked at my eyes. I was afraid what he might find looking at me. Maybe he would see a blue spark like the one I saw looking at Dama. So I moved backwards to the cabin door. What's telepathy? I said. Flutterdash smiled. It's a bond most often between two people. Their thoughts travel over distances, but it's strong magic, Flutterdash said, and put his fingers on his chin. I think you're just hallucinating. You need rest. Go now, Flutter Dash said, and pointed at the door.